Hi there, welcome to TV Cat Tech. This is the Tecsun PL-880, and I guess the main reason I got this was because of these controls. I love the controls down the side, because a while ago I got hold of an old Sangean, which is this radio, and the one thing I hate about it more than anything else is this rotary control here. It is clumsy and awkward to use. I really don't like it. There's quite a few other things I'm not too keen on either, but that's the main thing that I don't like about it. So this has controls down the side. I don't know if these are metal. It'd be even better if these were metal, but I'll find that out in a second. So here's the box. I'm struggling to fit it all in my screen here on my shot, as it were. But it apparently comes with headphones. 18650 battery, so it's just a single cell, which we'll see what kind of capacity that is, but could certainly replace that with a larger one if it's not up to kind of 3 to 3.5 amp per hour. A case, a long wire shortwave antenna, and another case. The whole thing comes in this. Good grief, I mean, that's kind of overkill, isn't it? Well, okay, I'm not going to complain. It's a very nice touch. Let's have a look at what we get inside. We have our operation manual. And here we have our 18650 cell, which is a 1800 milliamp hour. Okay, so capacity on that is not particularly good. You can almost get double that capacity now. And then we have a switch mode USB charger, which is one of these style that is absolutely ripping off Apple's charger. And then we have what do we have here? Oh, they actually provide an auxiliary cable, because there is a line out on this device as far as I know, so they actually provide an auxiliary cable as well, so just a TRS to TRS there. And this thing, you can tell how old it is because of the fact that it uses I was going to say micro USB, but it's not a micro USB, is it? It's a mini USB. So I quite like these. I mean, they're really sturdy, they're nice. My Canon 5D Mark III still uses one of these, and it's quite handy to have a few of these cables lying around. But it's old now, right? Then you always get a pair of headphones with these kind of radios, and these, I'm not going to lie, they don't seem amazing. And then here's our standard long antenna. I don't know how long it is. I'm not sure if it says anywhere how long it is, but the idea being that you just plug that into the shortwave antenna input, and then this just, can unroll and go out of a window or lay across the ground or whatever you want, really, just preferably out of the way of other stuff that will cause interference. And that's about it. So let's have a look at the radio itself, which comes in this rather... I don't mind this colour. This seems to be growing on me as I turn into an old man. This kind of brown leather. My laptop case is not a dissimilar colour to this. My MacBook kind of leather case. But this isn't leather, he says, sniffing it. No, it's definitely not leather. It'd be nice if it was, though, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be a really nice touch. But having said that, I've seen worse. This is pretty tidy, isn't it? And here's the radio itself, which is a little bit smaller than I thought, but that's good. And let's get in a little bit closer. So I'll just put it side by side with the Sangean before I do. In fact, I could probably fit the Sangean behind it, because look, I put the two right on top of each other like that. You can see that the Sangean is quite a bit larger. And that's good. I like the smaller. What about thickness? Yeah, the Sangean is just generally a bigger, chunkier radio. So we'll pop that one away for now. Are these metal? I think they might be, actually. These buttons down the side, I think they might be metal. They've got nice smooth control to them. But yeah, I think they actually might be metal buttons. Great. I guess we'd better power it up. So, as usual with these type of radios, we've got a little bit on the back that kind of just folds out like that and allows you to rest it down more easily. And in here, it's fairly plasticky, actually. Just sort of first impressions. These edges are not finished off particularly well. But I do like the fact it's just one battery. I wonder if it's got any charge in it. But it does look like we've got some power in this. In fact, it looks like the battery's fully charged, according to this. Let's just power it up and see what we get. So yeah, as I mentioned, one of the main reasons I was looking at this was because of these controls down the right-hand side, being kind of rotary controls, much easier to kind of just, mess about with like this, rather than having to do this on the front, which is something you can do once or twice, but after a while, if you're scrolling through something, scrolling through a lot of stuff, it's a very difficult action to keep sort of repeating, and it just doesn't work very well. And the second thing is that the actual audio quality on this is supposed to be really, really good. Now, I'm just taking people's word for that. If you listen to other people who've reviewed this radio, then you get comments, on how good the audio quality is. And also there's a signal meter as well on this, which I really like. So let's have a quick flick through the FM band anyway, see what we can get. Yeah, a lot of noise in here.
Our last music on tonight's new music show. Eliane Radig's Ockham 25.
Our guest, Claudine Tutongi.
BBC Radio 4.
Let's hear a poem about something.
BBC Radio 1 up here. And then we're going into the territory of Classic FM. Wow, not really picking anything up at all, is it? And that is it. Wow, not too much to offer at all there.
In a message to mark the 70th anniversary of her reign. Minister and former Brexit Secretary Steve Barclay.
Spanish. Well, there we go. Not much apart from a load of interference. time for some first impressions. It's been about a week now, and I've had the Tecsun, for about 7 days, been trying it out, just testing a couple of things. No expert on the radio yet, but I have had a chance to just try stuff out and get familiar with it. So I'll just give you a few of my thoughts on it so far. And yes, I will be kind of comparing to the Sangean here, this Sangean in the background you can see, because that's the other one that I own. I don't own a ton of these radios. I know a lot of people kind of almost like collect these, I think, and have quite a few of these. I only have the two, so I will be sort of comparing between the two. They're similarly priced, so I think it's a fair comparison. But so far, I mentioned earlier in the first section there that I bought this because I wanted to be able to tune with these. And so far, I'm finding it so much better to have a main tuning wheel here to kind of just search for stuff, find something you want, and then just sort of dip into the fine tuning here if you need to, just play around. It feels like a sort of old school radio, with an analog dial going across. It has, although it's completely digital, it has that analog feel to it, that sort of sense that you're tuning something in and you can just go up and down and then just go even finer here. Works perfectly. It's absolutely brilliant. I would recommend this radio over the Sangean, over that tuning dial there, and the fact that the Sangean has a separate fine tuning, so you have to kind of switch between fine tune and sort of coarse tune. I would recommend the Tecsun over the Sangean for that alone, if that's important to you. So having a look through the radio, this radio's got, I think, 3,050 presets. It does it in pages. So the first page, or should I say page 0, can hold about, I think, something like 500 and whatever, and then you've got 24 pages that all contain 100. So you've got 24 pages, 100, so 2,400 presets, and then the rest will be, so 550 or 650 or whatever, will be the all in page 0. So you can separate your presets out in that way, which is kind of handy, and they are pretty easy to program. So it's hard to give you an example because I can't really receive anything in here, but I will try. So I can just find something that's on. So we've got radio 4 there, and I can just press memory on there, and I can scroll to whichever preset I want using the same sort of dial as the tuning, and I can switch between pages just using this plus and minus here. So if I go to page 0 and I say I want it on, or in fact it's changed now because it reset back, but let it just do its thing. So I'm going to go back to 198, press memory, and I'm going to put this in preset 6, whatever, on page 0. And that's it. That's all you need to do. What you can easily do as well is if you're scanning up, you can scan up and just have it automatically program all your presets, and you can also just go up and then press memory and then memory again, and it'll put it in the next preset and the next preset and next preset. So actually programming this radio in for multiple shortwave stations, or just multiple stations in general, like you could scan the whole FM band, is quite straightforward. The only problem, of course, in the UK, if you're scanning the FM band or something like that, is you're just going to get the multiples of all the BBC stations and national stations like Classic. So you're going to end up with tons of repeats, potentially anyway. So not ideal in that sense, but it does work, and it works pretty easily. Then you have these buttons here, which I didn't realise, with the red across the top here, you can see where we've got FM set, long wave on off, and 9 or 10 kilohertz steps for AM. They operate when the radio's off, so it has to be off like this, and you can switch between those modes like that. Because I was thinking, how do you access this? Is it a shift or something, or a hold, but it's just when it's off, so it's quite straightforward. You've got upper sideband and lower sideband on 2 separate switches, so you can just switch between those. So if I go on to shortwave, for example, and just go down to one of the presets I have, which I doubt will have anything on at this time of day. You can see how easy it is to switch between presets. Because I'm in preset mode now, I can just jump up those presets. But of course it's shortwave, so the only thing really that's going to be on shortwave, it seems, is China Radio International or Radio Romania. That seems to be the only 2 things that you can pick up unless you start attaching any substantial antennas. So I can just press upper sideband like that. It goes into upper sideband mode, and then I can use the fine tune to go really absolutely precision on the display there, or I can just switch to lower sideband, and then just switch back to normal like that. AM and FM.
It is a musical.
AM is just standard AM medium wave, unless you enable long wave on here. And FM is anything from 64 to 108, but originally this radio was set, I think, to 88 to 108, but I've set it to 64. Not that it's any use to me, but it does mean now that I can... So it goes right down to 64. There's obviously nothing on this part of the band, but you never know, do you? You might find something on there. And then it's just got time, alarm, display, FM stereo stuff. It's all fairly standard stuff. It's nothing terribly complicated, but it is. I think the best thing about this radio is best things I would say about this radio that I've found so far are, one, the size. I like the fact it's a little bit smaller. Well, not a little bit smaller, as I showed you before. A little bit smaller than the Sangean. Nicer size to handle. It's the preset side of things and the tuning and scanning side of things works more easily and more positively and just more simply than the Sangean as well. And these tuning buttons here are just way better. AM reception is poor. It's not that bad. I've read online that everyone says it's awful, and I haven't found it to be that bad, but I have found that if I'm comparing, so if I put it on a main sort of station, it's fine. But if I've got something, say, late in the evening, if I've got like something on medium wave that's coming in from Spain or from France, then on the Sangean, it'll be much more listenable than on the Tecsun, just because of just a bit more background noise. You'll still pick it up on both. It'll still be there quite obviously, and quite, you'll be able to listen to it if you wanted to, but there's just more noise on the Tecsun. It just doesn't drag that signal in as well on AM. Shortwave and FM seem absolutely fine. The audio quality on this is okay. It's not quite as good as I was expecting after I heard the reviews. It's good for the size, but it's totally comparable to the Sangean, and I wouldn't say that the Tecsun's any better in that way. It is good because it has a line out, so if you want to take stuff out, you can have headphones out and line out, so a fixed line level out if you want to take this out to any kind of recorder or anything like that. That's good. Uses the old USB style here for charging directly on the radio. I have charged up the battery on here, but I didn't do it on the radio. I don't know how long that takes. I used a completely separate charger of 18650 batteries to do that. Nice that it just holds one 18650 battery. That seems to last a long time. It's lasted through all my messing around. And on the side here, also we've got our shortwave antenna gain switch between local, normal, and DX. Attachment there for an external antenna for shortwave, though I must admit I've found that attaching anything to this doesn't really see. I don't know if I've got a faulty radio or something, but I haven't found it makes any substantial difference to the internal antenna. I've probably just not got the setup, or the antenna I'm connecting it to. If I put the one, that little reel that comes with it, if I put that outside, I'm probably picking up more interference than just on the antenna itself. So it's probably just a case of local interference rather than the radio not working, because it just doesn't seem to do that much. Whereas I always found that this kind of works okay with the antenna in the side. No auxiliary in on this, but I'm not quite sure you'd really want to use this as any kind of main listening device. The Sangean does have an auxiliary in at the side and kind of record. You've got line out with the standby and stuff and the auxiliary in, so you can use the radio itself as an amplifier. This doesn't have that. But what else do we have on the side? Bass, tone, bass and treble. Why you'd ever want to use it in bass mode? Because it doesn't actually change anything apart from cutting the top end entirely, which I don't know why someone would want to listen to that. If you can have the top end, then why not? And then you can set your light to auto off. You set your light to auto off or permanently on. So, what do you think? I mean, is this something you've used? Is it something that you would, go out there and spend £180 on, or do you think it's overpriced? Because there are other radios out there that have similar functionality to this and are considerably cheaper. They're like more in this sort of £60-70 range. I don't know what the build quality of them's like because I haven't seen them myself. The build quality of this in the tuning section is nice. The rest of it does feel a bit plasticky. The antenna I don't like so much. It's not that long and it feels a little bit flimsy. And also this top section on the antenna doesn't lift out or slot in or anything like that. So you can't get that really sharp angle on it there, which you can on the Sangean. Let me just show you what I mean. So on here, we've got an antenna that has got this. You've got this little lipped bit here to allow you to sort of have it down like that. But not only that, it pulls out like that. So you can really get that right angled to the radio, which when you've got the radio down like this is really handy because you can have your antenna directly upwards like that. And I don't think that's possible really to do. You can't, hope you can see what I'm doing, sort of see what I'm doing here. This stand here, this is really flimsy. Feels really plasticky. Don't like that, but it's okay. Yeah, so the best you can get it when you've got it stood up is like that. You can't get it without, obviously, you can prop it up a bit more and do it, but you just can't do that angle on the Tecsun, unfortunately. But it's a good radio. I think it's overpriced. I don't think it has the build quality that I was expecting. I think these are fantastic, these tuning controls down here. I do wish that this was just a little bit bigger. That would be nice if that was just a touch bigger, you know, larger wheel. And it seems to perform really nicely on shortwave. It's nice and easy to tune. I do like it. I probably don't like it as much as I was expecting to, but it does seem a competent radio and is something I will definitely keep hold of. Do you have one of these? Do you have anything else from Tecsun? What other brands would you recommend? Let me know in the comments, and thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.